question that has always existed since the dawn of man is, which ideology is the best? There's people who say capitalism is the best, some who say communism is the best, even some who still say that royalty is the best way to go. And many economists have literally spent their entire careers trying to answer this question to no avail at all. But today, we are finally answering it once and for all. Not by using any actual logical means at all. We're gonna do it in WorldBox. We're gonna simulate it here and just see who wins. And by this, I mean I have 5 ideologies on these middle 5 islands here, and we are going to give them a bunch of time to grow and expand, and then promptly make them beat the crap out of each other to see which one's the best. First off, we obviously have the capitalists, who will all be born with the mercantile ideology. Then the commies, who will be born with the people-woven ideology. Next up is the royalists, who are all born with the dynastic ideology. Then we have the militarists, who are all born with the martial ideology. And the last ones, the Australians, born with the chaos vote ideology. And since I almost never use these ideologies, I genuinely have no clue what this does, and we're gonna find out. And also, I'm just realizing it's kind of weird how all of these people are straight up born with these ideologies. It's not taught to them, it's just inherently learned. But I guess these guys are Australians after all, so it makes sense. But anyway, we are going to click unpause, and shortly all of these guys should begin forming their kingdoms like so. I'm going to have to rename them accordingly first. So after naming all of them, we have the Cash Grab Empire, the Soviet Union 2, England, Militopia, and just Hell. And these are just the kingdom names, but let me look at the village name. That is the auto-generated name for the Australian kingdom. But as we unpause, you are obviously going to notice these extra 10 islands that are uninhabited right now. That's because as we let time pass, these ideologies will be able to colonize these islands if they choose to do so, which can help them in the big war that is going to happen promptly at year 250. And if you're actually wondering how I gave all these kingdoms their different ideologies, like most things good in WorldBox, it came from mods, specifically the modernbox mod. But you guys probably already know that, considering this video has been done like a bajillion times. But you know, it's kind of like a rite of passage. I finally have to get my video in now. But anyway, yeah, real exciting gameplay here. So we're going to come back at year 250 and check in right before the war begins. So let's see what happens. And here we are at year 250, and population has multiplied over 12 times since the start, so I want to see what we got here. It appears that our 2 biggest kingdoms are the Soviet Union 2 and Hell, but in terms of expansion, it's actually amazed me how equally all of these kingdoms have expanded, with each of them actually grabbing 2 islands, one on the north and one on the south. That is, except for Militopia, who is the weakest kingdom by far, who interestingly enough, their extra island has actually become a split village between Australia and the Soviet Union. But the rest of these guys are looking pretty good, and I'm not gonna lie, all of them look pretty equal. Cash Grab Empire with 1200, Soviet Union 2 with 1500, England with 1200, Hell with 1300, and we don't talk about Militopia. But now it's time to actually look into these kingdoms to see if there's any noticeable differences between these ideologies. So the capitalists are looking pretty alright. They have a nice radio station, nice houses, good farm. The Soviet Union looks almost identical too, though. The royalists look a bit more barren, but still more or less the same. Same with the militarists too, and even the chaotic Australians are more or less the same too. But I don't think the city design is going to be the big difference. I think when the war actually starts is when we'll see stuff get interesting. But speaking of interesting, we need to check the most interesting people too, because it's going to be a sign of how well these empires are doing. So yeah, unsurprisingly, the richest is a capitalist. No shocker there. Both of the people with the most kids are from Australia. The happiest are all from the Soviet Union, take that as you will. And one of the saddest is from the capitalists. Oh yeah, I'm not pushing any agenda here, but this is just what WorldBox says, and WorldBox knows better than any of us. But then again, all of the hungriest are also from the Soviet Union too. The smartest is from the Soviet Union, while all 3 of the dumbest are from the capitalists. The fastest is also from the Soviet Union, while the strongest is actually from the royalists in England, surprisingly enough. And that is everyone there. That is actually very interesting. Militopia did not get any representation in that, but I think that's just because they're terrible. Like, they're so terrible that they don't even place last on the interesting people. Even in a losing competition, they still got 2nd place. It's weird. I haven't even looked at these kingdoms' mottos yet. The capitalist, destiny or regrets. Okay, that's valid. Soviet Union, forgiveness through rock. England, with prosperity and pride. Okay, pretty basic. The militarists, in peace we trust. Wait, aren't you guys military? How does that make any sense? No wonder these guys are terrible. Like, are we serious? capitalists. And lastly, Australia, victory through fish. I'll give it to him. That was pretty funny. That's a pretty good one. But there's nothing to laugh about anymore because it is time to finally begin this war. We're gonna take spite and manually make every country declare war. Now they all hate each other, and I do kind of feel bad with this orientation because the royalists in the middle are probably the most screwed, but you know, whatever. Who cares? England's been on top of the world for too long anyway. It's time that we finally bring them down a peg. And oh yeah, because this is the modernbox mod, they can launch nukes. But now that the war has begun, let's click unpause here. The first big battle is definitely going to be on these islands right here. And oh yeah, I forgot that navy is going to be a very big deal here because most of this map is water after all. So even though naval combat in this game is generally pretty bad, this looks pretty cool as we can see boats of all sorts of different countries going out and attacking one another. But as we speed up time here, it's pretty obvious that Militopia may be the first one destroyed. But the Soviet Union does win their island battle, knocking out Australia. And even though this war has already been going on a couple years and there's been a lot of deaths already, I can't tell there's any clear front runner. All the population proportions look about equal to what they were. The capitalists are pretty safe here on the left and same with the Australians on the right. And the Soviet Union has begun taking heavy losses, down below 1,100 people. And believe it or not, England's actually doing the best right now in terms of population despite being in the worst spot. England also has the biggest army right now too with 600 troops. I'm shocked that Militopia honestly still exists at this point. It is getting absolutely demolished here. But I haven't seen any nukes dropped yet, which isn't really concerning. But because these islands are pretty small, one nuke and it's pretty much all over. Oh, and there's the first nukes. And the nukes are starting to fly. Look on the left. Oh yeah, this is where I shouldn't have said anything. This is where it all goes downhill from now. England got hit, but luckily it wasn't direct strike as Australia just got hit a few times. Same with Militopia. They were already weak as is. They didn't even need to be nuked. And considering the capitalists have not been nuked yet, I think we can determine where they're probably coming from here. As yeah, because of that, the capitalists and shockingly Australia are out on top here. And now the Soviet Union is beginning to fall to the capitalists. Wow, they may be happier, but they are not more powerful. The Soviet Union is now split into two islands on polar opposite sides of one another. While Militopia is about to finally fall, but they held out for a long time. If they actually expanded well, they would do pretty good because, I mean, like the name suggests, they are good fighters. Australia is just doing whatever the hell they want to, but I guess that's because they're the chaos guys after all, but they're doing surprisingly well with that. And the Soviet Union is spending a lot of its remaining time fending off capitalist attacks. World population is now below half of what it was at the start, and the Soviet Union's on its last legs with just 30 people left. At least it lasted a lot longer than it did in real life with their King Stalin. Wait, Stalin? That seems oddly suspicious to another name that they've had of a leader. Oh well, it's not like that's really gonna matter here, as the capitalists in Australia are actually growing strength right now. The capitalists are stronger than they were at the start of the war now, while Militopia is still fighting to the ends of the earth to just try to stay alive. And there goes another Soviet Union village right there. Now just one remains. Oh, and Militopia has been captured by England as 5 nukes just went off. Holy crap, which also destroyed the Soviet Union at nearly the same time, leaving just 3 kingdoms left. The capitalists, the royalists, and the chaos Australian weird guys. But it's really a miracle England's lasted this long, as now they're in the middle of 2 superpowers. I don't see this ending well for them. Holy crap, remember when I showed you guys what these islands look like after the time lapse? Look at them now. This is absolutely insane. There's still some buildings here and there, but now it's just covered in nuclear waste, nuclear blob trees, and just destruction. It's just terrible. But now that the Soviet Union and Militopia is gone, these countries are a lot more tame. They're not really doing a lot right now. A lot of this conflict, like I said in the start, is really just naval warfare. All of these boats are just launching bombs on each other, and there's not actually been a lot of army action that I've seen. But there has been a lot of deaths though. Almost 6,000 from conflict and another 2,000 each from burning and explosions. And this naval warfare has actually led to another capitalist village collapsing, although it was one they got from the Soviet Union. So now these guys are like super isolated. I'm not really sure what to do here, so I guess we just speed up time and see who's next to fall. Okay, after waiting for about 20 seconds, I realize this is going to take a long time. So I'm going to make the executive decision of turning off civ babies and handsome migrants, which basically means in terms of this war that everyone you see here, all these 2,887 people, are going to be the last. They will not be replaced by any kids or any immigrants at all. This is it. So let's click unpause. Australia is now below 1,000. Oh, but the capitalists have sent an army of 200 troops in this barge, but now they've been intercepted, and now the troops are stranded on this island island. The barge they were on got destroyed, trapping them here. And I don't know if there's any way they can get out, at least not immediately. And the troops were finally returned home on a barge from the stranded island, but not before they lost over 100 of them, severely hurting the capitalist empire. Oh my god, I didn't even notice that. The Middle England Empire Kingdom is completely gone now. There's not a soul living here anymore. I didn't even realize it was on the brink. So England just lost their most central village, but they still have a decent amount of people just on the two southern and northern islands. Oh my god, and the Australians have launched a last-ditch effort invasion on England, but it just resulted in hundreds of them losing their lives, and now they're in last place by quite a bit. While the cash grab empire more or less has just been chilling here, letting everyone else duke it out. And that's a big development here, but I think this war might just come down to nukes. Literally, whoever has the most nukes and whoever launches the most ones strategically will probably be the winner, which, as we know from pretty much all of history, will probably be these guys right here, as England loses another village, as now the capitalists are launching an invasion as they have people crawl over, and they are absolutely decimating England. However, they're losing a bunch of people too. I'm not quite sure what they're doing. As if we actually look into the village later here, this village still has 50 people, and oh yeah, this one is still here. I forgot about that. As I speed up time, not really as lots happening. There's no big invasions. It just really is revealing that this whole world is kind of just miserable. But England's in last. I guess that's because they're used to misery. As they are now down below 100, and a couple of nukes just went off. Holy crap, 5 nukes just went off straight. However, a lot of them are targeted at the capitalists, and now they're down to 230 people. Even despite that, they are still in the lead. World population is now below 500, below the mark where we began. Oh, and the first village of Australia has fallen, and wait, is it? Yes, it is this one. Okay, thank God. Alright, well now I don't even care who wins anymore, as long as that village is out. And finally, nuclear weapons are back in the air. And holy crap, so many. Oh, I've never seen this many before. Is this like a grand finale? Okay, they finally stopped. How many just got launched? 51 have been dropped, effectively lobotomizing Australia as they are down to 11 people, while England is down to just 14. And the capitalists pretty much have this in the bag. But it seems like they might actually be the best ideology here. But who's gonna come in second at least? Wait, holy crap, the king of the US is named Trias. That's elite channel ball knowledge right there. Oh, and I didn't even notice this, but the cash grab empire's actually taken a royal village here, leaving just one more. Now they have 3 people, while Australia has 1. I wonder who's gonna... Oh, and England is gone, leaving just one single soul left in Australia. Wolois. He's equipped with everything he needs. His helmet, his merv, his steel boots, his grenade, his medkit, and morphine. Yeah, this is pretty much the average Australian that I'm looking at right here. I love how he's casually waltzing around despite literally everything around him just being miserable and on fire and dying. But as troops close in, they destroy his kingdom. He's not even dead. But I guess that's a technical knockout, meaning that the capitalist cash grab empire in a very close war are the winners. 5th place was the militarists, 4th place was the communists, 3rd place royalists, 2nd place chaos, but 1st place capitalists. So that means without a shadow of a doubt, using very logical and good methods, capitalism is the best ideology that you can follow. But anyway, if you made it this far in the video, clearly I did something to entertain you, so I'd appreciate it if you would click like and subscribe, and also join my Discord too. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Farewell.